Good morning. So this week we're looking at newspaper reports. We're going to link it to our rainforest topic as well, but today it's all about those newspaper reports. So let me just share the screen. I'm getting quicker at it, I promise. So we're going to be identifying features of a newspaper report. It'll be really handy if you had a newspaper of any kind of description. I mean, this one is from July 1969, so it doesn't have to be a current newspaper, but if you have a newspaper of any type, it would be really useful as we talk through the features of it. So if we look at the main page, the main features, the front page of the newspaper, what is it about this newspaper that pulls your attention? So many things, many newspapers have similar characteristics. So you get the title of the newspaper, often in a stylized font or something like that. Certain newspapers have red across the top and others don't, and that's a real choice thing. So apart from that, what first grabs your attention from the newspaper? It's pulling you in. It's a bit like a hook with a book, something that makes you want to read on, what makes you want to turn that page. So in newspapers, it's catchy headlines, and there's lots and lots and lots out there. Really catchy, pulls you in. Men walk on moon. Really big, strong start, and it makes you want to buy the newspaper. So I wonder what your newspaper headline is that really catches your eyes. So I want you to, if you've got a newspaper, if you haven't, maybe you can find one online. Find a newspaper and think about which of all the stories, what is the one that pulls your attention the most? What do you want to read on the most? So normally in class what we'd do is we'd have first news, and that would have stories that would get very much geared to Year 3 pupils, but obviously we don't have that now, so we'll have to look through the newspaper and find that report that interests you, and then you'll want to read it. Okay, so write a great newspaper report. Now this is what we're going to be doing eventually, but I thought it was a really good idea to talk you through all the features. So a newspaper report needs to be about an interesting event, capture the reader's attention, present factual information, be succinct and to the point. That means it doesn't waffle, much like I do. I waffle too much. The newspaper would be succinct, so it would get right to the point. Okay. So I'm going to be leaving this PowerPoint on my Google Drive, and I'll leave a link in the description below, so you can access this at your own pace, and you can go through it once more, because they are good things to remember. So the essentials first. It is important that newspaper reports have the most important information coming first. This is called front loading. So it grabs the reader's attention, and the most important things come first, because sometimes the reader doesn't read on further. When the reader reads a newspaper report, they should be given the essential information first, so that they can decide if they wish to read more. So all the important bits first, and then it goes into the minute detail later on. So across the whole newspaper, you'd have a headline and a byline. A byline is the bit underneath, let's just find it, the bit underneath a newspaper report. So you've got the headline here. The byline is slightly smaller, and it relates to the headline, giving a little bit of extra information, okay? And that's all it does, it gives that extra little part of information. Then you have the body, and then you have the tail. So in here, it explains fully what the headline is, the byline is, the lead, the body, and the tail. So I'll leave all of that information, along with examples, and a few other pointers, all on the PowerPoint, and I'll put that into Google Drive for you. Okay, we'll be using this throughout the week. But today's important information, so we go through that PowerPoint, we'll look at the features of a newspaper report checklist, and I will also put this onto the Google Drive, And then what I'd like you to do is find a newspaper, stick it on to a bigger piece of paper, or stick bits of paper next to it. You could use post-it notes or things like that. And I'd like you to use all of these names, all of these headings, and I'd like you to put it against the newspaper. Okay, so for example, newspaper name, well, here we have the Daily Mail, and the newspaper name would go here. Facts and opinions, you're going to have to read the newspaper article that you pick. I would suggest you do the front of the newspaper so you get the newspaper name. A detailed paragraphs, price, well, a price I've seen here. So this is the kind of idea, you can add that extra detail in, but I would like the main features of a newspaper to be in this section, okay? So this is today's task, is to find either a picture of a newspaper or find a newspaper, use a bigger piece of paper to mount it on, or use smaller bits of paper that you can stick over the top of it and annotate it with all the features that you, when you recreate your newspaper, will have to include. Okay, so that's today's task. I hope that that goes well. I would like to see them on our portfolios, which is, it's always nice to see. See what features, maybe also pick out some wow words that they've used that really captured your imagination. So that'd be lovely to see, and I'll join you again tomorrow to go further through our newspaper topic.